Greetings, everyone. My name is Joseph Mass, and you are watching Speak the Truth. Actually, Speak the Truth is a format that a minister, friend of mine, we utilize here in the city of Mobile for several years, a couple of years or so on television here locally. Um, it was part of a broader program. But Speak the Truth was a format that we utilized. It was an apologetic style format where we dealt with some of the hard issues and things that people just needed to hear what we felt was the truth. And we contended for the truth in that regard. And so, but I'm here, as you see on your screen, there's a program that I came across on YouTube. And let me just say, Elder Bolahan is that friend of mine, and we've done one YouTube video together thus far, and we are actually working on a longer and a larger video series is going to turn out to be on this issue. Can science explain the origin of life? One of the areas that we deal with is evolution. And so I came across this video, and the purpose of this particular video, this is going to be shorter than the one that we're working on, but I wanted to address an issue as I was watching this video, and it's just fraught, it's full of just erroneous information, and I may get a chance to air a little bit of it in just a moment. Just erroneous information that had been proven to be fallacious decades ago. And so it's a sad video. But in the comment section, of course, you have individuals that are championing this video as being right on point, and I came across one particular response that I felt compelled to respond to, and I'm waiting on this individual to get back with me, or anyone from this. It's this video, and in the comment section below this video, it's on YouTube. It's titled "Can Science Explain the Origin of Life?" And in the comment section, I came across this particular comment. I'm gonna read it in just a second. It was by Weasel, screen name Weasel Dragon, and came across this. I'm a minister of the gospel. I'm a creationalist, is intelligent design. I know they separate the two, but you know, I roll in either camp. God created, and He was intelligent, and He designed it all, and I believe there is good information and good evidence to point to that reality. Certainly more so than evolution. And so, watching this video, came across this comment, and I just felt compelled to respond to it. So I'm going to read Weasel Dragon's comment, and then I'm going to read my response that I had to it. And this is Weasel Dragon. It's time to give up trying to convince evolution deniers. If you're more than 10 years old, he says, and you still deny the mountain of evidence in paleontology, phylogenetics, molecular biology, biochemistry, biogeography, computational biology, comparative anatomy, embryology, population dynamics, virology, radioisotope dating, and other disciplines, as well as in direct observation of local adaptation, ring species, and laboratory speciation, then there's no hope for you. You probably shouldn't even venture outside, because we have a better understanding of, now this is where he really loses his mind here. We have a better understanding, and there's more evidence for evolution than gravity. Now that's spoken like an evolutionist, and I'm going to explain why I say that. Spoken like a true evolutionist, because they love to lie, and I'm going to point that out in just a minute. Let me take that. Well, it's a lot. Well, no, I mean, just point blank. I ain't trying to offend anybody, but it's just a lot of lies in that camp. And matter of fact, you're going to hear me respond to that, address that in my response to this this person, whoever it is. He says we have understanding and more evidence of evolution than gravity. He says you might just fly off the earth if you're not careful. Wow. That's delusional, folks. This is absolutely delusional. And I hope he responds. Now, this is what I had to say to Weasel Dragon. I said this at Weasel Dragon. If this mountain, this mammoth mountain of evidence actually exists, as you claim, why then is there the strong history of blatant lies and willful deception that runs throughout the existence of evolutionary thought? And I give a list. Pelt down chicken. Now, folks, just blatant lie. This pelt down chicken, if I'm not mistaken, this might have stayed in textbooks. And again, Elder Bolahan and myself, we're working on a video, gonna have more detail and facts involved. I'm just kind of coming off memory at this point. Pelt down chicken, I think, stayed in textbooks for over 40 some years, folks. Pelt down man. This is another hoax. Just made up, took a portion of a human skull and a jawbone of some sort of, I think, an ape, and then put it and glued it, super glued it, or whatever they did all together, and put it in the textbooks. And matter of fact, Pelt Down Man, if I'm not mistaken, it was cited in the Scopes trial as being absolute evidence that we found the transitional form. Nebraska Man, this is a pig's tooth. So found a pig's tooth and created a whole man. This is how desperate this camp. And I talked about the lies. I'm not trying to disrespect no one exactly, not really, but it's facts are facts. Just lie after lie after lie. Then we got Haeckel's embryos. This individual got charged, found guilty by his own university. And I think by law he was found he broke the law. Falsified drawings. Why would you falsify if you have this mountain of truth and evidence supporting you? Well, you falsifying it because you don't have a mountain of truth and evidence supporting this foolishness. Lucy took some bones and put human feet. I think is it at the Smithsonian? Is that in Chicago? One of these displays, just absolute lie. Archaeopteryx. Oh, this is a transitional bird from dinosaur, reptile to bird. And they found birds that predated Archaeopteryx. So how could Archaeopteryx be a transitional form for birds? And it was birds before. Another lie. And I wrote, and I could go on and on. Why all these lies if there is such a great mountain of evidence favoring evolution? Only a fool would falsify information with a mountain of truth available to choose from, which is absolutely true, folks. Why would you choose fallacious information, fraudulent information? Why would you even engage in fraudulent activity concerning evolution if this mountain of evidence actually existed? It only exists in the minds of evolutionists, because it definitely doesn't exist in the real world. Because if it does exist in the real world, will some evolutionists please respond to this video and tell me what kind of idiotic position would it be to have a mountain of evidence that supports your cause, but throughout the history of evolution, you all are going to select and choose. And folks, these Pelt Down chicken, Pelt Down man, Nebraska man, Haeckel's embryo, Lucy, this wasn't just on the fringes of evolutionary thought. This represented the mainstream. These lies stayed in textbooks for decades. And they were cited in papers and as proof, and even in court cases. This was mainstream evolution, and the mainstream has always been fraught and built around lies and erroneous information. And this is the proof. And if anyone wants to contend with it, be my guest. I gladly welcome you to respond and explain to me, why would you have a mountain of truth supporting evolution, but choose to print and put in textbooks for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, 60 years, some of this crap. And the reality is, some of it is still in textbooks. Been found to be bogus decades ago. And they're still trying to pass this stuff off as fact. Somebody in the camp of evolution, please help me with this. Help me understand. What rational-minded person would have mountains and evidence that's so solid it's even stronger than the information we have about gravity, according to this delusional statement from Weasel Dragon. We have more information and evidence about evolution, solid information, than gravity. Really? Then if you have all of this truthful information, why pelt down chicken stayed in the textbooks for I think about 40 years? Why pelt down man? Why Nebraska man? Why Henkel got to go in there and forge drawings to try to give the illusion that common descent is actually a legitimate proposal? Why fake the drawings if all the evidence actually support it? Just pick the truthful stuff. But no, we got to go in here and forge and make up Archaeoraptor, put it all together with some glue. We got to go in and take a pig tooth and try to create a whole. I'm done. I hope that Weasel Dragon will respond, or anybody from that post, and please help me understand this method of thinking, that you would have all of this mountain of truth that Weasel Dragon thinks exists, but yet throughout the entire history of evolution, one lie after another lie after another lie. And I'm talking about in the history, in the textbooks, 50 and 60 years, some of this stuff, and some of it's still in the history books. Does that really make sense to you, evolutionists? Really? Holler back at me.